All right. Hi, everyone. Today I am with Amanda Biccum, who is this amazing, beautiful woman I met when I lived in San Francisco. She was a yoga teacher, but she's so much more than that. She's a very, very interesting background. I'll let her introduce herself, but I want to talk today specifically about this new program she's created and this new focus of how she views the connection between the mind, body, spirit, which is totally fascinating and resonating to me. And I think a lot of other people will find it valuable as well. So hi, Amanda.
Hi, thank you for bringing me on, Stacey.
So tell me about what you're currently doing. I know I maybe give people a little glimpse of to where you came from and all the wonderful training you've had and what you're focused on now.
Great. Yeah, I think that's an awesome place to start. As you mentioned, we met in San Francisco. And when we met in San Francisco, I was this perfection-driven, full-time San Francisco yoga teacher living this city lifestyle, which is something that I thought that I always wanted, right, for whatever reason. And it was in the midst of all that, I was also going to school as a holistic health coach, understanding holistic nutrition over at Bowman in Berkeley. And it was in the midst of all of that I started to feel a little bit of a disconnect, right? Like I was on the path to being like the next San Francisco yogi. And I was just feeling like that's not really resonating. That's not really what I wanted. Yet I didn't really know where it was that I wanted to be. But I felt like, this idea of the Instagram yogi just what really wasn't resonating anymore. So I decided to actually leave the country, and I lived in India. I've been traveling for almost the last 2 years, where I lived in India, studied Ayurveda, studied different practices, Taoism, shamanism, and multiple different practices to help me better understand the mind, body, spirit connection. After graduating from Bowman, I really understood that nutrition and the physiological aspect. However, I knew that there was something so much more in the energetic realm and in the spiritual realm, and that maybe wasn't really linking up with the way that we used to heal, such as in Ayurveda and ancient practices of shamanism and other medicines, as well as the new world, the Western medicine, which is, just based in the physiological. So it's kind of like where I've been and where I'm at now based upon, all that I've been traveling in the last 2 years.
I love it. Well, we were talking a little bit before about this new program, and what really resonated with me and actually was a big light bulb about this idea of how our gut instinct is directly connected to our gut health and how the prevalence of imbalances people have and clarity and confidence issues. It really, really struck a chord for me. So can you explain what you were saying before?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically what happened is this whole idea of feeling that I wasn't really, it's hard to explain, right? It's like when you're feeling kind of off, it's just this subtle feeling of like, something's not right. Like something's not, like I'm not waking up every day feeling like, yes, I'm not waking up feeling I have zest and passion and fire. But yet, everything on the outside is perfect. Like what, like I don't understand what's really missing. Or maybe sometimes for some people, it's just a little bit of like digestion issues or a little bit of like uncomfortability or not really feeling connected is really kind of the root of it. And it can manifest itself in different ways. And so over this 2-year period, there were times where I felt this passion, this fire, this zest. And then slowly, I started to kind of dwindle in my health. And now, mind you, I'm doing yoga every day. I'm doing meditation every day. I'm very aware of what I should be eating. I've been a nutritionist and studying nutrition for the last 7 years. So I was doing all the right things, but yet there was something deeper inside me that I wasn't really listening to. And this is my gut instinct. I was living by the old paradigm and the old story that we've been in, which is the story of not enough. I started to believe this story that there is not enough, that I'm not enough, that, that there's just not enough in this world. And it started to manifest itself in my physical body. Now, for me, instead of digestion-based issues, it manifested itself in skin-based issues. And so, in this whole process of me, and I'm like a health coach, and I'm supposed to be this certain way, and I'm supposed to look this certain way, and like how terrible is that like here I am holding myself to the standard, but yet if somebody were to look at me, they would be like, she doesn't know health, like she's got perioral dermatitis, and so again, this was my own like belief of myself not being enough.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I did was I took all that I had learned from the Western understanding of health and medicine, of digestive health and gut instinct, and how truly the gut is a reflection of what's happening in the body. And it's this tube from mouth to anus that nothing should go outside of it. It should just go through it. And as the food breaks down, it should be this simple process. But with stress and toxins and everything else in our world today, that becomes permeable, and then it creates these things like leaky gut that we hear today.
Mm-hmm.
So I took all of this information and understanding of the gut microbiome that I'd been studying in the West, and then I applied it to all this understanding of the mind spirit aspect of it, of really listening to my intuition and really trying to take this struggle or this challenge or this sign that my body was telling me that something wasn't right, and instead of push against it like we're supposed to do in the Western world because we get shit done, actually ease into it and say, hey, how can I have compassion for myself? And so I created a program of 21 days where I dedicated it completely to myself. And it's actually a series of 2 different self-experiments that I did. I did 21 days of bliss where I did nothing else other, and this was when I was in a period of super self-loathing and really lost in connection. I did nothing else other than that which I wanted to do. And I journaled all about it instead of being like, oh, I'm like gaining weight and I don't want to be here, so I'm going to work out and do a bunch of push-ups and like run at the beach every day. That's very masculine driven. Instead, I decided to tap into my divine feminine and really just start to journal about my bliss. And then the second part of the program was really about healing from the inside out. So getting rid of harmful organisms, parasites, and toxins. And then in the end, what happened was I combined the 2 programs and I created this program. It's called a 21-day system reset, which literally helps people get rid of all of the external toxins and internal toxins that are in our body, helps us to reset our entire digestive system, along with the mind spirit aspect, which helps us to align and connect to our highest and best self through mindfulness-based practices along the way.
That sounds awesome. And I think it's really interesting because oftentimes we look at things very siloed. Like for me, for example, right? I'm into the healing world. I do things like this. I get all different types of healing work done. I'm very aware of that. I'm very aware of myself. And I feel like I'm doing work and spiritual work. And I go to yoga regularly and I try to eat well. And, you kind of just go on autopilot. But I know what feeling meh can feel like. That's how my whole journey started with, I guess 7-8 years ago, just discovering that I had severe gluten intolerance and severe digestive issues and a candida overgrowth. It was terrible. And I didn't know until I talked about it with somebody who introduced me to this naturopath, who put me on this, elimination diet, which sounds sort of similar, the idea of what you're doing. And it wasn't until I did that when I knew what normal felt like. And I was like, holy crap, I was accepting that as my normal. That is so unacceptable. And I think about that so much now, especially talking to you, because I feel like I probably have been coasting on some like middle tier for so long because it hasn't ever been as bad as that. But I know, I wake up tired all the time. I have certain things here and there, or, I go to my acupuncturist regularly, or I explain it like I'm not sleeping well because I have a toddler. And yes, these things are all true, but it's so interesting. Like what you're saying is so resonating about how that's connected with everything else in your life and what I'm going through and, the entrepreneurial journey that I'm on and the blocks that I'm facing and all of that. And I wondered, well, what am I not doing? And maybe it does come back to this. And it's so fascinating. I'm definitely excited to check out your program. I think it's really awesome. So I would love to know more tactically, like what does this entail? Like how has this gone for people who have done it before?
Yeah, there's something that you said that I think is really important, and I want to just touch on. It's this understanding that we no longer know what baseline is, right? Mm-hmm. Like we are taught to continue to just keep going, to drive forward. If we have some sort of an issue, let's say a symptom, maybe it's a skin-based issue like what happened to me, maybe it's digestion, maybe it's acid reflux, maybe it's bloating, gas. We're taught that that's normal, or just to take something like a Tums or whatever to push it down. And that is your body trying to say, hey, listen to this. Like there's something going on and I need your attention, I need your awareness. So like our baseline today? Because we are inundated with toxins, regardless of where you live. They're everywhere. If you've never done a heavy metal detox, guess what? It's time. If you've never actually thought about cleaning up your microbiome, parasites, there's a study that was done that over 50% of Americans, traveling or not traveling, have some sort of a parasite or a harmful microorganism in them. And it's asymptomatic, which is why when you go to the doctor and you're trying to figure out what's going on, they can't tell you, because it's not like, oh, you have an ear infection. It's something that can be causing something else, like your fatigue or anything else, high stress and anxiety. And so also along that, like, not only have we slowly degrade until finally, like you, in your case, something really big happened where you're like, I cannot ignore this anymore. And I'm not sure, maybe you were in the corporate world and maybe you were struggling against yourself and in a position and really stressed out where you knew you didn't want to be, but you felt like you had to be because of money or this or that or whatever, or what society was, or maybe it was a good position or whatever. So you stayed there. You were going against your gut instinct. And so what happens is we finally get to this place of really true ill health, and then we snap out of it and we decide to take care of ourselves. So it's about being mindful in the journey of how do you really feel? How can you check in? And the daily check-in is a big part of the program. So basically it's 21 days and it's a mind, body, spirit system reset. So I have a book that I've created. It's a guidebook and it gives you everything very similar to elimination diet. It's more anti-inflammatory. Go through, there's 3 stages of healing. First stage is anti-inflammatory diet, getting rid of the top inflammatory foods. And it's actually really easy. A lot of people are like, oh my God, this is going to be really hard, but it's really easy. It's like 5 things you just eliminate from your diet, plus minor on the sugar, less sugar. Second phase is probably the most transformational stage and also the hardest. It's where we do a cleanse. It's a bone broth and juice cleanse. Now I know that a lot of people are vegetarian. I myself used to be vegetarian and vegan. I don't necessarily recommend that as the healthiest diet anymore. I do have a vegetarian option, but you do have to supplement with other supplements as well. Okay. And then the last stage is more of a rotational based diet. So we kind of talk about how to rotate foods so that when you're finished with the 21 days and you start to introduce these inflammatory foods like gluten and dairy and eggs or whatever, you have the ability to understand your own bioindividuality. And that's something I think that this program offers in 21 days, plus the weeks that follow. If you stick to this mindful and based eating pattern, you begin to understand that just because strawberries are healthy doesn't necessarily mean that they're healthy for you, right? Just because a carrot is good or a broccoli is good doesn't necessarily mean that those things are really going to be serving you. And it's this idea that food is healthy, but it might not be right for your body right now. And until we kind of begin to create more awareness around these food patterns and habits, then we're unable to fully actually understand the diet or the lifestyle that serves our body best. And along with all that, there's mindfulness-based practices and meditations and things like that too.
So interesting, because, I've been on this gluten-free diet for 8 years now. I haven't touched gluten. When I've been accidentally gluten and I've had this systemic, full body flu reaction, really terrible, I've had a lot of energy work done to address the root cause of it. And I've done some work specifically around allergies. It's called NAT and it's body talk, and all really awesome that I would love to talk about actually separately from this. But I've always been scared to reintroduce it to my diet because I'm not sure if it's really right for me or if I'm quote unquote cured. And what I think is really interesting too is I have gone in and out of the dairy intolerance field for a while. I can't eat it, and then sometimes I crave it, and then sometimes it doesn't sit well. And so it's so interesting as you're talking about this idea of bioindividuality, maybe that is just a different way of looking at it. I have never really thought holistically after this very first introduction I had to this when I just cut it out of my diet and I focused on all of that. But I'm so interested because I do think there are certain areas that could be improved in this whole idea of listening to your gut instinct and clarity, hearing, seeing, feeling, all of that. That's what I feel for me personally is missing. And it completely resonates, this idea of how all these things are interrelated. So I'm so curious to learn more. I want to sign up and do it. But what about this juice cleanse? What if you can't do part of the program? Has anyone ever said that to you?
Of course, there's always objections. The main objection that I get is like, oh, but I have this wedding, or I have this vacation, or I have this thing, and like I can't be juicing while I'm doing that thing. It's like, guess what? Like, there's no perfect time to do a detox. There's no perfect time. There's always going to be something, but this isn't a detox. I'm not just giving you like, hey, go to the juice store and pick up your 7 juices and drink like, 3 a day. That's not it. Like, this is literally a mind, body, spirit system reset. And so like people will come up against resistance of like, we are human beings. We're designed to like crave pleasure and avoid pain, and food is pleasurable. And like the mind will come in and try to pull you away from any part of this program. Like, oh, it's 21 days. Oh, I have this thing coming up. But guess what? What's really happening is it's your lower self getting in the way from your higher self. It's like, it's a commitment to self. At the end of the day, this whole journey, it's a commitment to self. It's framed in the way of a detox because yes, it literally does help you detox, but it's about committing to self. There's always going to be something or someone getting in the way of you and yourself. But the only person who can help you step into that place, and again, this is going to help you find alignment in all aspects of your life. When you get clear, when you put yourself first for 21 days, when you get very intentional with your actions and how your actions create your patterns and your habits and create your reality, you become clear. You become very aligned with where it is that who you are, what's right for you. Your instinct increases. Nobody knows what's best for you other than you. But if you have so much crap coming in from the external, from what you watch on TV to what you listen to what you put into your body, you can't discern what's you and what's not you. And that's what autoimmune diseases are. Anybody who's dealing with autoimmune diseases, the self is having a hard time understanding what's self and what's not self. And so we have to get rid of all of the things that are coming in and distracting us from self, and begin to create this connection where we're checking in. Is this what's right for me? Do I really want this, or is this what I'm craving? And I truly do believe that food is the vessel through which we can enhance our consciousness. And I can explain that even on a physiological level. But if we're not spending so much energy detoxing and turning and putting foods that do not serve us literally on a physical level into our body has more energy. We have more energy. Energy can neither be created or destroyed. So you change what you put into your body so that it's a match for your vibrational frequency. Then you have more energy to not spend it so much time in this area digesting, but you literally can begin to move the energy up because your body's not fighting so hard just to survive. You begin to actually thrive. And my company is called the Vitality Path because it's about, there's a big difference between energy and vitality. Energy is when your toddler didn't wake you up in the middle of the night, when you had a good, breakfast in the morning, when you went and worked out. Vitality is the wellspring within you that is just waiting to be tapped into, but you have to put yourself first in order to begin to understand how it flows.
I love that. Well, I'm sold. Are you still accepting people into this program? How can people find more? I'll share the link, of course, in the notes as well, but in case anybody needs to check it out right now.
Yeah, I super encourage, it's all about the tribe. It's all about helping each other, come onto it with people. So people have done it with their partner. People have told friends about it to hey, join this with me, because this can be kind of scary. Right now, I just started launching it. So the program starts May 7th. It's a group coaching program. We all go in together. I detox with everybody. I eat my own dog food, because I get really excited about it. I know that it's been so transformational for me and so many different people. Right now, people can save the first 5 people. There's 2 people who have signed up, so there's 3 more spots. People can save $50 on that. Plus, they also get a bonus how to eat out while detoxing guide. And it's because people are like, oh, you can detox and eat out. It's like, yes, you can. You're not in a prison for 21 days. It's really about finding expansion. And then after that, people can have $25 off until April 14th. And then the program starts on May 7th.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, I will share a link to that on the Vitality Path. This was awesome. So is there anything else people should know? Is this program for everyone? Is it for a specific type of person?
Yeah, it's for people who are dedicated and ready to stop making excuses and start living the life that they know that they were destined to live. And it seems so, it's like, wait, what? Like, that's really intense. And it is really intense. Like, it's, if you're committed, if you're sitting in this place of like feeling like you're not exactly where you're supposed to be, you know, you're not exactly aligned in all aspects of your life, and you want a system reset. Like, I don't know about you, but when I have too many tabs on my computer as an entrepreneur and my computer starts running slow and like things, it's like, I need a system reset on that computer. You know, it's like, this is your system reset. If you're ready for to step up and to step into the possibilities of feeling connected in your body, mind, and spirit, then this is for you. If you want to continue to make excuses for why you're not where you want to be, and you know that you don't have the money or you don't have the time or there's the wedding coming up. I've had people go to weddings on it. I've had people go to vacations on it. You know, it's like, if you're ready to choose you, then this program is for you. I'll leave all the details. You know, people can find it on my website, amandabiccum.com, and I'll leave you the link, and people can sign up and start to join the Detox tribe.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Amanda. This was awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me. It's been divine reconnecting with you so many years later, and trips around the world, literally.
It's amazing. It's funny. The people pop into your life at the right time.
That's right. Always.